Hi, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and viewers joining us from all parts of Malaysia. A warm welcome to the Book Talk session organized by the English Language Teaching Center, ELTC, Ministry of Education, Malaysia. A splendid morning we bid to all of you who have joined. We are delighted to have you all here today for this special event. Before we proceed with the session, let us take a moment to introduce the purpose and significance of this event. This book talk session aims to provide a platform for renowned personalities, authors, and writers to share their literary works, insights, and experiences. Today, we have the privilege of hosting an extraordinary guest, Dr. Sue Wincy, who will be sharing her remarkable journey and her latest work, Invincible X. To begin this event, let us extend a warm welcome to our esteemed Director of the English Language Teaching Center, Puan Farah Mardi binti Aman. She has been instrumental in promoting the English language education and fostering a love for literature. Please join me in welcoming Puan Farah to deliver her opening speech.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning. Dr. Kalmin Dejit Kaur Gucharan Singh, Deputy Director of ELTC, Puan Sheila Adelina Ramasamy, Head of Department Documentation and Publication, ELTC, Dr. Sharmini Siva Bikaraman, Head of Unit Documentation and Publication, ELTC, Puan Juliana Binti Sahari, Head of Resource Center, Head of Departments and Units, Institute of Teacher Education, IPGs. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. It gives me with great pleasure to welcome all of you to our inaugural book talk session organized by the ELT Library under the Documentation and Publication Department, ELTC. This book talk session is aimed at promoting reading as a lifestyle among Malaysians and specifically to cultivate a continuous passion for reading among ELTC staff and the surrounding community of the Institute of Teacher Education or IPG. It also aspires to provide support and encourage the growth of the local book industry. Overall, the program fosters intellectual sharing to celebrate the remarkable achievements of individuals who have made significant contributions to literature in our country. It is my sincere hope that this event will become a signature event for the ELT Library taking place annually. By doing so, we aspire to strengthen and enhance the reading culture among our society in line with the government's vision of transforming our nation into a reading nation. Today, we are honored to have Dr. Sue Wincy as our guest speaker. Thank you, Dr. Sue, for making time to be with us today. Dr. Sue Wincy is a multi-talented personality from Malaysia, known for her accomplishments as a celebrity, entrepreneur, motivator, and a PhD graduate. This morning, she will be sharing insights from her book entitled Invincible X, which encapsulates her impactful life experiences and aims to inspire all of us gathered here. I believe all of us are looking forward to the session, and I wish to congratulate the ELT Library and Document and Publication Department for hosting this event. And I would like to express my gratitude to all of you for joining us today. Let us embrace the power of words and embark on this literary journey together. Thank you.
Thank you, Puan Farah, for those inspiring words. We are honored to have your presence and support for this event. Now, it's time to dive into the heart of our event, the book talk session with Dr. Sue Wincy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now for the highly anticipated book talk session with our very own special guest, Dr. Sue Wincy. Please join me in giving a warm virtual applause to our guest of honor today, Dr. Sue Wincy. And to moderate the session for today, we have with us Mr. Khairul Mizan bin Muhammad Fauzi from English Language Teaching Center. Let's now sit back, relax, and enjoy this enlightening session. Take it away, Mizan.
Okay, special thank to my dear colleague, my esteemed Master of Ceremony, Miss Puvana, for the wonderful opening. So I would like to welcome our honored guest today, Dr. Sue Wincy, to the show. Hello, Doctor.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Good to see you, Doctor.
Great to see you. Great to see you. I'm just reposting online to ask all my fans to watch together.
That's amazing. That's amazing. The more, the merrier, Doctor.
Yeah, I was like, amazing. Having this talk is amazing. And then I was like, like after COVID, especially, and all my fans was texting me, like I was telling you, everyone, I was like, my fans was like, oh, doctor, you're having this talk today. Yeah. So because a lot of them in university and stuff, but I'm proud. A lot of my fans also like went to school and stuff. So yeah, like just now the speech, reading Late Nation is very important. Very important.
Hopefully we can have a great session today, Doctor.
Yes, please. We're going to have a very honest session. Yeah.
All right, to all tuning in today. So I'm honored to be here today, with this one amazing lady. Okay, so she's a beauty queen. She's an actress, a singer. She appeared on Celebrity MasterChef, a multiple Malaysian book of record holder, a model, a speaker. She has appeared on Tech Talk, And most importantly, what set her apart from the rest is the fact that she's a celebrity with not only a degree, but two master degrees, one PhD, another PhD is on the way. And wait, I'm not done yet. The list goes on. And now she's teaching as well. She's a professor. So the list just goes on with this lady. Such an amazing lady, a beauty with a brain. Okay, an epitome of women's empowerment. What, as I would like to describe it. Okay, I would like to welcome Dr. Sue Wincy to our book talk session today. Welcome, Doctor.
Hi everyone. thank you thank you so much. Thank you so much for the kind of the introduction and stuff. And we're gonna go through a lot of stories and stuff. And also, I'm watching the YouTube now. If you guys have any question, please ask online. I'll be there watching and stuff. And while also we're discussing about the books and stuff. We're gonna make it very interesting. I promise this won't be boring.
Yeah, we will. We
You know,
will.
yeah, we was like back in my school days, it's like, books must be interesting. It won't be boring, I
Yeah.
promise. Yeah.
So I've gone through the books, so I can assure you that the stories in the books are very inspiring. So to all the audience that are tuning in with us today, so hang on, we're gonna dissect the book together with the author herself. Okay, so the book, Doctor, is
Yeah.
entitled Invincible, which is cleverly entitled with
Thank
your
you.
name in it, and the word that describe you, which is invincible. Considering the hardship that you go through and all the accomplishments that you have achieved so far at the young age of 37, and you're only 37 and you've done all these things which many would only dream of. Amazing.
Thank you.
So to all the readers out there, or the audience, so Invisible Acts is a biography slash memoir which mainly focuses on inspiring readers, or patients, as what the author would like to refer to the readers as. So I'm going to give a brief introduction about the book first, Doctor. So
Okay, cool.
the book contains 196 pages with seven main chapters that the readers can go through. So it encapsulates Dr. Sue's journey from her humble beginning until what she has become now. Okay, so Doctor, my question to you is, okay, the
Yes.
first question to the
Whoa.
author.
Whoa.
Okay, what was the inspiration behind you publishing Invincible Acts?
Okay. Back then, I think when I wanted started to write the book, everyone was going against because some feedback was like telling me that, okay, this generation nobody's reading books or digitalization and stuff. So, I am a researcher and I'm a person where I read a lot of books because that's how I score in my life, and then I learned everything beyond just life. So back then I was like, I wanted to start my own book, just like how I started my first song without knowing anything. So,
Mhm.
of course, it was very hard. I kind of locked myself in the room for almost 3 months. I think writing a book is even harder than writing songs or writing or
Mhm.
other things. Being author is a very, very tough journey because one thing, it's not like PCs. You are solving people's problem. But the thing is, writing your own book and stuff, sometimes it's like you don't know what the audience wants. So it's very different from what I did in the entertainment line. So the first book, I say that, you know what, just keep it simple. And I
Mhm.
think that my target audience back then was like, I want to inspire the kids because I'm a person where, back then when I read story, I remember when I was young, I read about, our sejarah, our, people in overseas, how they struggle in life and how the true story. But I remember during my secondary or kind of like university time, I was like thinking, why am I reading people's from overseas? There's not
Mhm.
much of story in Malaysia. So back then I was like, things happen, and then I was like thinking, you know what, I convert my life into the real story because what you see on the screen was all the success. I was thinking I want to be honest enough to show my failure story because I
Mhm.
learned a lot through my failures, where people nowadays don't talk about. So back then I was like, you know what, this is a confession. I was like, behind the scene, I wanted to show them that behind every success is all the failure. So my life
Mhm.
is it's not smooth at all. That's why I went and do so much stuff. So a lot of people always thought that it's impossible. But when you started my whole thing, like I opened up the book. I remember I did it like because like a chart. like something like a dream chart. I was telling that this is for people who dares to dream, because back then everyone said I was crazy, and then because I was crazy enough to dream, and then crazy enough to do the action. So I say that this is dedicated for all the dreamers, and every 7 chapters is all failures first, then only I see results. Again, I started the first chapter with my story as a Godzilla, because I was a victim of bully. I was a victim of criticizing. I feel what the youngster are feeling before. So that's why I nowadays is like a lot of people, like they only would feel it, or it's back to their heart when you been through it. So that's why a lot of youngsters sometimes they text me like, doctor, and then nowadays you got social media, but back then I don't have social media. So now I kind of review everything what happened. So I told the student, I was like, there's nothing for me to show off, but there's a lot of things for me to tell you that I learned in life. And it's just that I don't give up. If I gave up, I won't be the Miss World speaking to you all now. I will be still the Godzilla. So I think this whole thing, back then there is a book called Ugly Ducking, right? So this one I'll be categorizing the transformation of Godzilla. Yeah, because back then everyone called me Godzilla because I was fat, I can't study, and I was bullied in school. I was crying every day in school, actually. So why until like you say that like today I achieved so much is because I need to do more than people. And sometimes I don't look at my success anymore. I just want to do it, because I don't want to sit there and just talk nothing, and I just want to show results. For me, it's like I'm a person that I can't stop. Yeah, because of all the hurdles I've been through when I was young.
Yeah, and then you've shown to the public how you definitely cannot stop, and you've
Yeah.
associated yourself with the word crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's a good kind of crazy, since I mean you stumble upon the naysayers all your life, when you said that you wanted to pursue your studies, and then there are
Yeah.
naysayers saying that you cannot do this, a
Mm.
woman cannot do this, beauty
Oh
pageants cannot do
yeah.
this, and you are out there to prove them wrong, which is I think it's a sense of achievement for you as well, isn't
Wow.
it?
Yeah, yeah, it is though. And then the thing is, of course, like, sometimes, we confuse about, fighting for feminine, but because some of them they only fight on the surface, but we come down, we went through a lot of things. And this my whole life, that day, like I went for a talk, like my some of the student asked me, like, say, what's your goal? I was like, my goal is like to build a nation of Malaysian who are so educated and so smart, so that in the future, like I want to see growth. I'm tired of seeing just talking and not moving. So that's why, like,
Yeah,
youngster will be our change. So that's why
yeah.
whenever like talk and stuff, I'm willing to do it, because I want to see the youngster be better than us. Because sometimes, as a leader and stuff, you always forget about self. But the thing is, the best way to do it is just to come down and serve. So that's why a lot of times, like for students and stuff, young kids and stuff, I always tell people that, I chose not to get married, but I chose to, this fans and my all my students will be my anak-anak already. Because I think that, back then, I'm closer than my supervisor compared to my family.
I see.
My family don't even know what am I doing. They always think I
I
was
wonder what she's
crazy.
up to now.
Yeah, she's like, why, like just now in the morning, what are you doing today? Why are you wearing like this? Why are you in your room? Why are you doing so many PhD? And why? Because they were influenced by the traditional background. I was like,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what? I was like, I mean, it's just like back then, our parents or ancestors, they won't explain why. They're going to do it, and we're going to
Yeah,
see the result. It's very hard to
yeah,
explain. I was like, I just need to show the results. Yeah.
yeah. Be careful, Malaysians. Dr. Su is out here to change the norm of what we have been doing for the
Yeah.
past decades. Okay, doctor,
Yeah.
past few decades. Okay, doctor, I
Yeah.
have another question for you in regards of your book. By the way, I have a copy here, a signed copy here. This is the
Oh
book.
yeah.
A signed copy, so audience out there, don't be jealous. Uh, so, doctor, in regards of your book here, so I have another question. Okay, what was the process that
Mm.
you went through in the publishing process of this book? And can you
Oh,
mind do you mind sharing with the
yeah.
audience a little bit?
Yeah, I almost gave up.
Luckily, you didn't.
You know why? Because okay, one, the costing I have to come up with myself. I think
Mm.
the hardest part was because writing out, you have to write it out yourself, and I was writing in English and everything. And then that 3 months I locked myself, and then it's very different from writing journals. Journals for me is so easy now because like we being grilled. But as an author, sometimes it's like I'm scared of like what Malaysian wants or what the audience wants. So and I decided to come up with a book. Everyone was like, oh my god, it's a okay, book nowadays is, we say, is a rugi business, right? I was like, yeah, but my motive is very different. I told them, even nowadays I give my books for free for my kids, or my kids students, and or all the fans and stuff, because I told them that this book I produced within 3 months, and I was confused, like especially everyone knows my journey, it's this one linked with this, so that's why I divided into 7 hats, because I wear too many hats back then. So the crown, the actress, and why, but at
The
the end,
professor.
yeah, professor or whatever, like, but at the end it was education which linked everything. I
Yeah.
discover a lot when I write the book. I was like, why, I also don't know why. I just, because back then I was like, I just do first. But I'm like,
Mm.
it's actually education though, because when I
Yeah.
was lost, education pulled me back. And then when
I
I go
see.
into anything, education was the one to give me the courage to go, because if not, I can't go in. I can't just like, oh, because I got bakat or I got talent.
Mm.
No, talent without education, there's no direction.
Yeah,
Talent
yeah,
without, your luck without education, it's not deep. So
definitely.
I was like, you know what? I was like, even like bidang seni, or in the what do you call that, in the seni world, we need to enforce something deeper. So all these things, 7 hats, is from education, route to singing, acting, cooking, every single thing. It makes sense to me now. Back then, everyone tell me the same. It's just like this generation. A lot of kids were being told that you can't do anything at all. You know what? I did law. And why Sunny jumped into entertainment? So it doesn't mean that you're going to do what you study. It also doesn't mean that you're going to get something straight. Back then, I want to do music 100%. But thank God I didn't do that, because when I went to Berkeley back then, I wanted so badly to go into Berkeley, but thank God, like, God sent me 10 years of journey and gave me the experience. Only I went into Berkeley, because things happen for a reason. A true winner is going to suffer a lot first before you get your big success. So I always think that the biggest success is the person who always like sustain the longest. So
Yeah.
I was like, the whole thing is like, back then I was thinking that why my journey is so painful, but I can tell you, it's always the toughest person is being sent to all this journey. So if your life is tough, meaning you have a mission in life, don't give up. You are the selected ones. Those who have an easy life, it's not, because I can tell you it's very fair. I compare a lot
I
of
totally
it.
understand.
You
Yeah.
get what I mean, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, the
yeah.
student now, I keep telling them that, okay, you know what? I see amazing people, and I see what do you call that? Legendary people are the
Mhm.
person who been through so much hurdle. The
Yeah.
story makes them so different, because
Yeah.
by all the degrees master I have, I'm going to die one day. Nobody's going to
Mhm.
remember how much money or education or whatever I have, but people is going
Mhm.
to remember my story. So a lot of times I say that, whenever we are still there, we wanted to use our life and story to tell the younger generation, do better, do better, do better. Because a lot of times, like, every generation must supersede one generation. So our
Doctor,
heart,
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you there because you say that
yes.
you are leaving a legacy. So yesterday when I posted your poster on social media, and then the video, that the one that we did our rehearsal, do you know what happened?
What
One one
happened?
of one of my friends on my social media, and then she said, "Oh, she's my role model," and then she,
Really?
yeah, yeah, she even quoted your quote during your graduation speech when you say that there's one Chinese proverb saying that there's no
Yes.
stupid woman, but there's
Yeah, yeah.
a lazy
Lazy
woman.
woman.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
she quoted you on that. So I
Oh
think
my God.
that's the kind of legacy that you're
I
hoping to
wanted to
leave
do.
behind, and
Yeah.
you are doing it as we speak. Amazing. I was like, this
Thank you
amazing.
so much.
Okay, doctor. We're moving on to the next part of the session. Okay, because a lot of people they see your achievement, your successes on even on Wikipedia, on YouTube. You can see all of those achievements. You've been on MasterChef and all, but the part that people might overlook is that the fact that you went through a lot of hardships even until now, that you say that you were bullied when you were kids, and then you
Yeah.
only sleep like 3-4 hours a day. Even you mentioned that in your graduation speech as well. Okay,
Yeah.
so upon dissecting each chapter, one of the part that amazes me the most was that beside all this amazing achievement that you have accomplished so far, is the hardship that you went through or you have gone through, even from a very young age. So my question to you is, Dr. Suwan, childhood was not really a walk in the park for you, meaning that you came from a humble beginning. Would you mind sharing the audience how was life growing up? By the way,
Okay.
to the audience out there, this is one of the chapters that you can find in the book. Okay, that's all.
Yeah. So I'm going to make it much more, like my sejarah lah, okay? Because I was being because back then my parents was struggling for the business, and I was being taken care by my atuk,
Mm.
my grandfather. And my grandfather was the ketua kampung in one of the kampung in Ipoh. So back then, when young, I remember I would sit together with him, listen to what sejarah he told me. That's why I like. I'm a person where, although I'm a city girl, but because of my grandparents, they were from kampung. So like
Mhm.
my grandparents taught me to be independent. And then I remember that even in we was living in the city, my grandfather will always tell me that, Wincy, do it yourself, do it yourself. Even
Mhm.
we must do it everything by myself. And then back then as well, I was from Chinese school. But because I always wanted to learn Malay, so I'm a Chinese girl where I volunteered to go SMK. And back then my Melayu was so bad. Yeah, I was like, for me, I was like, hey, negara rakyat Malaysia, I wanted to go sekolah Melayu. So I
Yeah,
am the
understood,
Chinese
understood.
girl. Yeah, I'm the Chinese girl who all my friend was like, are you kidding me? I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I wanted to go. So I went myself. I left all my friends. So when I went to
Mhm.
sekolah Melayu, it's when I really learned so much because
Mhm.
one thing, I mixed with multiracial people. And I was
Mhm.
I was so funny. I back then I sit with all Muslim mates because my BM was so bad. I asked them, please help my BM. I was sitting with them. I don't want to sit with the Chinese people. I was like, I want to learn BM. So I was sitting with them, and then I learned so much from all
Mhm.
the Malay people. And then
Mhm.
I that's why I got the Pelat Melayu because of all the trainings for my Malay friends. And even,
That's interesting.
yeah, that's interesting, right? And back then, like I was
Yeah.
like, huh, I only know puasa when I was in sekolah menengah. I was like,
Yeah.
wow. I was like, kau semua, I mean, like all these things I learned through life. And then, of course,
Mhm.
back then, I took a lot of different challenges because back then I
Mhm.
can't study. And then I was so bad. So I always tell people, if I need to study whatever, I need to have 10 times of effort what people are doing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
from a person where I still remember when I was young, my weight always increased, and
Yeah.
my what do you call that? My position in class also increased, meaning that I keep getting behind.
It's correlated.
It's correlated, right? So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I can't be like this, the Godzilla forever. I was crying
Mm.
every day. But then I come to a point where I realized that, you know what? Nobody is going to change my life. And if I don't
Mhm.
make a move, I'm going to stuck here forever.
Yeah.
Okay. So I told myself, a change is better than no change, right? I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
stop
Definitely.
complaining. So what happened was I started grilling myself, and then I saw effect and all these things. But again,
Mhm.
human beings, right? I achieved like things, and then I lost weight and stuff. Again, I become arrogant,
Oh, I
life
see.
is always, like that. So then things hit me again. So whenever I become arrogant, I know that my result will flop. So always until today, I was like, life taught me to be humble
Humble.
because you
Yeah.
have no idea. Okay, it's just like after I conquer secondary school, I went
Mhm.
UK for my studies, right?
Yeah.
You think you're number one in Malaysia, but when
Yeah.
you went UK, you might be number
The,
last
at the bottom.
at
Yeah.
the bottom. I was like, okay, okay. I was like, I,
Yeah.
I need I need to climb back because back then
Yeah.
there's so many first class students.
Mhm.
They lost themselves because they always thought they were number one.
Mhm.
But
It's
I
like
am
a
a person.
privilege for them.
Yeah, it was a privilege
Really.
because you
Yeah.
don't get to see international yet.
Mhm.
Because then when I went overseas and when I compete in Miss World, you know what I say? I was like,
Yeah.
we are not there at all.
Yeah.
But
We are far behind.
we are far behind. But the thing
Yeah.
is, I can see that at least we are being honest. I'm a person, I don't like to shock sendiri. I was like,
Yeah.
not enough. I'm not enough, you know. So a lot of good student or bad student, it doesn't justify your future yet. I keep telling you. So I always think that there is still a chance. Every day, it's a new day, a new chapter. Whatever success it is, please put aside after you achieving it. I always give myself nowadays 24 hours. You enjoy the fame, bye. You have to continue
Yeah.
your life. So
Yeah.
nowadays, it's like all these hurdles taught me that, you know what? Focus and keep on having milestone so that one by one you achieve. Of course, you cannot jump. You don't suddenly go and jump. It's just like back then when I did Miss World, I failed almost 20 pageant before I win Miss World Malaysia crown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I started from
What a
small
journey
pageant.
that was.
It was a huge journey. Nobody knows. I was like,
Yeah.
I am the person who went for all the audition. I'm the
Yeah.
person who you see on set the first always. It's just like
Yeah.
when I did production acting. I'm always the first to go on set because I wanted to learn everything. I was
Yeah.
like, there's no divaness. I wanted to do my work. So that's why I was like, there's all hardship behind. Only people, audience is going to feel you.
Yeah, I'm really interested to I mean to pick your brain and see how it works because
Oh
the
my God.
from the
Yeah, you
yeah,
can
no,
dissect my brain.
to see how because the way that when you mention something you do things extraordinarily, meaning that when you say that you face hardship and then
Yep.
you the word give up I don't think it's really in your dictionary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
And then another thing when you say about all this, you're going through the process. And I mean, you set apart when you say that you're a Chinese girl who speaks Mandarin, who spoke Mandarin, and then you say that okay, I want this, I want to learn Malay, which not everyone has the realization of how beneficial it is or
It
it
is.
was to master more than one languages. So,
Exactly.
Doctor, I
Mm.
just have a side question that I need to ask you because you started from speaking Mandarin and then you went on to learning Malay until you are fluent. I'm very sure that you are fluent. I know
Yeah.
that you are fluent, and then you are fluent in English as well. So, what was the transition for you to I mean to pick up another language, which is I'm sure it's
Mm.
not easy.
Okay, this is a good tips for everyone because
Yeah.
back then I kind of cracked this type of formula because even before Chinese, I speak Hokkien. Okay, Hokkien and Cantonese. So and then I transferred to Chinese school, speak Mandarin. Then I volunteered to Malay school and stuff. Okay, usually what I do is one, I'll definitely mix with the people who speak well. Second, I'm gonna buy a lot of books. A lot of books, I guarantee. Third, I go classes and tuition. So three things together, you definitely going to score because a lot of times you think that one, when you mix with people you get to interact. Second, when you read, it's your sensory, it trigger your sensory. Third, when you go for tuition and stuff, you learn from the best how's the steps. So usually when I learn one skill, I will have three triangulation ways,
I
which
see.
definitely you will definitely gonna on. So I always say that, okay, like just like when I went Spain 5 years ago, I don't speak Spanish back then, but the thing is I have no choice. It was COVID and I was supposed to work there. So what happened was the same. I went for classes. I bought a lot. That time I don't have budget. So I went to library every day to read Spanish book. Then nowadays you can watch Spanish online. Then I was mixing with all my Spanish producer. So that was how I kind of treasure everything because sometimes, okay, you don't have budget for tuition. Never mind, watch YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, if I don't have budget, I don't have friends or whatever, it's okay. Social media nowadays, everything, it's possible. So a lot of times, please move away from your comfort zone. I'm
Yeah.
a person where, I always challenge and I know my purpose. Because the thing is, like, once you master the language, it's forever yours. So
Yes.
put that
Yes.
aside and challenge other languages. Because like that, imagine that, like now I'm completing my second PhD in Spain. One day I'm going to record my Spanish song. I didn't know Spanish market is so big.
Oh my God.
I
Yeah.
was
Looking
like,
forward for that.
yeah, I think like
Yeah.
yeah, because like the Spanish government also looking at me already because I
Yeah.
gotten scholarship from them. So I didn't know that the market was so big. So back then, same thing, when I went to Bidang Melayu, okay, back then I was like, everyone was laughing at me. I remember 10 years ago when I went for MasterChef,
Yeah.
everyone was laughing for me. I was like, why a Chinese wanted to go Bidang Melayu? I was like, one thing, I was from Sekolah Menengah. Second and
Yeah.
third, I love a lot of Malay artists. I love all the Malay culture, and I love. Okay, I keep telling them I'm more Melayu than Chinese, honestly, because it's
One
true.
Malaysia.
Yeah, I was like, it's true.
Yeah.
I was like, because although I look Chinese, but the way
Yeah.
I speak and the way I behave, I think I behave more Malay because I was from Malay school. So what
Mm-hmm.
happened was I decided to went go I remember back then I decided to skip my acting and went for cooking.
Yeah.
Everyone laughed at me, but never ever I imagined a cooking show would make me so popular in Malay household. I
Yeah. Who
tried
would have
so
thought that?
many things, so everyone was amazed, like people was criticizing you, then they copy you. I was like,
Yeah.
what I mean, like, meaning that it shows that don't listen to others, listen to
Yeah.
what you think is right and do it the
Yeah.
right way. Things will come. They never go through your journey. They
Yeah.
don't know anything, so I always take the leap. It's just that back then, a beauty queen going to PhD,
Yeah.
I was being laughed every day in school. you know
Mm-hmm.
my class, I was the
How
youngest.
young? How young were you back then when you first started your beauty pageant?
Pageant, I started at the age of 16, and
Is it
then
so you
my,
were still in school?
yeah, still in school. So
Oh
everyone was
my.
like like everyone, because that time I was watching K-pop stuff. I was like, wow, why Korean they grew their talent such a young age. So I
Mm.
go for my classes, and night I'll go for music, or weekend I'll go for performance. So I already planned and charted myself because back then there's no art syllabus. I have to do myself. I was like, and then my science teacher was like, what are you doing? I was like, it's okay. I was like, as long as I can do your work and I can do my work, you don't kacau me.
Doctor, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of these things that you were doing at a very young age, was that,
Yeah.
I mean, was there any support from your parents, or you just told your parent, okay, mom, dad, I want to do this, so they just send you to your classes and all?
Okay, no, I am very weird. Okay, my mom and dad like tell me that, you know what, just do your thing and then get married and just have a good life. I was like, no. I was like, and can you imagine? Can you
It's
imagine,
the
like,
odd one out, yeah.
yeah, other people is like, okay, I send you to here. No, I'm the person. I write everything down. That I want this. That I want that. Okay, and then my dad will definitely tell me, no, no, no. So I will negotiate with him. I was like, okay, okay,
Mm.
please open up what you want. So it challenged me until today that, like, my dad said, okay, if you want to go here, if you want to score A1 for me here, only I'm going to give you to go art school and stuff. Okay. And then back then I was like, I don't want to argue with you. Let me do it.
Yeah,
So that's why until today I don't sleep, is because daytime I do what my parents want. Nighttime I do what I want.
I
So
see.
it become
You have
it
to
become my
balance
life
that.
now.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have to balance that. I don't want to
yeah,
gado because Asian parents is, but I never blame. It
yeah.
comes to think that it does work in some way. So it's so
Mm-hmm.
funny. Then after that I'm the only one where people don't want to go tuition. I'm the only one who say that I want tuition. I want this. I want this. I want this.
It must be very interesting for your mom and dad
Yeah,
raising
it's like,
Dr. Su Wincy.
yeah, so until today, like sometimes, like, I'll ask my friend, okay, do this, do that, do this, do that, and stuff, because like it shows, like, it's always me lah. Back then I'm the one who initiate, because I tell them,
Yeah,
if you don't initiate and you just follow the flow, you're not gonna succeed in life, you know. So I was
yeah,
like, lesson learned, really lesson learned. I learned a lot. Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny because of the Godzilla story, I'm a person
yeah.
that I don't take it for granted. I told my parents, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and back then as well, I have my own schedule. Until today, I plan
Mm-hmm.
everything by myself. It's just,
Yeah.
when I met back my secondary school mate, you know what they told me? Wincy, you are
Mm-hmm.
just an extreme version of your secondary school. I was like, yeah, yeah, I never changed. I never changed.
It's just the same person, but you
It's the
took it to the
same.
extreme. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like you are the
yeah, yeah,
extreme now. I was like, yeah, because that was a smaller scale, right? So
yeah,
whatever you're doing in school now, it's a
yeah,
smaller scale. Just
yeah.
pretend and that and stuff, and then just maximize it. You're gonna see amazing results.
Sorry, doctor, but the word, I mean, the word Godzilla,
Yeah.
it really got stuck to you. But in a
Mm.
way that once it left, I mean, it leaves a scar in you. But at the same time, it fueled your journey forward,
Oh
didn't it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I always think that, like, when life throw you like all the lime or lemon or sour things, make it into
yeah.
lemonade. What Beyonce
Lemonade,
said
yeah,
was so true. So I was
yeah,
like, if like, I posted something where if people throw stone on you, don't throw that back. Use it
yeah.
and build your castle.
Build something, yeah. Build a
Yeah.
castle, yeah, definitely.
And then the thing is, like, when people talk about you, meaning you're doing something right.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, doctor. Interesting story nonetheless. But I need to move on to another topic that is, I think, very close to you.
Okay.
your involvement with the creative entertainment industry. Since you went into singing, you went into acting, so I believe that is one of the major chunks of your life, which
Yes.
is entertainment business.
Yes.
So my question to you is that is it really since that you are leaning towards the academic life now, and then
Yes.
you still have your celebrity life. So
Oof.
I mean, what is your plan? I mean, in terms of being involved in the entertainment industry, is it still the main business, or you're leaning toward the academia?
Okay, I think this is a so good question because online now, like our live chat is very a lot of people inside. I see a lot of teachers there as well. So for me now, it's like definitely my biggest dream is to connect industry and education together. Okay,
I
that's
see.
always my passion. I
Mm-hmm.
always see overseas because I've been living in overseas I've been basing in overseas in Taiwan, China, Spain. I see how the industry work where the industry and the education are linked together. So
Mm-hmm.
back then I saw in Berkeley, I saw inspiring producer. How was their schedule? I was so amazed. I saw what they did was, okay, Monday to Friday they teach, and
Mm-hmm.
night, whenever like they have resting, they do mixing or they do everything coaching on their own business. Saturdays and Sunday they fly back to US, produce for Super Bowl, Oscar, Grammy. And during the summer term, whenever the student have break, they tour with artists. So when I saw the ecosystem, I was like, why can't Malaysian do that?
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to do that. That's why, I didn't want to go teaching. It was COVID where
Mm-hmm.
I saw there was no job at all. It's
Mm-hmm.
so bad for our live music, and
Yeah.
it was so bad for my industry. How are you
It's
going to
an eye
shift?
opener, wasn't it? It's like an
I can
eye
tell you,
opener for you.
thank God I pivot to education. And then never in my life I thought I would become a teacher. Because
Mm-hmm.
when I was in UI, like when I was interviewing, I thought that that I wouldn't get it. But then when I saw it, I was like, you know what? Why can't I be
Mm-hmm.
an educator at the same time where I can be a celebrity? And of course, now I'm a producer. I'm not just an artist because, and as an artist, you don't get to control the project. As a producer, I
Yeah.
have time already. I get to select. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
just a talent anymore. So I was like, you know what? I can connect my students towards that. I can connect my faculty towards the industry so that
Yeah.
there's no wastage. I was like, that's why I practice on myself. Like now, like last year, as my first year as an educator, I almost fainted. I told my students, I was telling everyone, I was like, because I wanted to serve the music industry first. So I was like, that was my strength first. I was like, I almost fainted because like
Mm-hmm.
I teach. I was serving in the government, so I know that have to apply a lot of
It was
orang
UITM, wasn't it?
UITM. So
Yeah.
I was a government servant for 1 year. I want to experience that. So I understand the hurdle. It's not
Yeah.
easy, but
It's
the
not
thing
easy.
is,
Yeah.
we trying our best. We try our
Mm-hmm.
best. Of course, that after that, I have to move on my career. So I was telling them that I will always be educator, but in a different form. And of course, I can't let go my industry effort is because if the industry is not ready,
Yeah.
the student won't be ready. Even
Yeah.
you have so good education, but the industry is not
Mm-hmm.
ready, and you have to take a leap. So
So you
sometimes,
cannot
like,
you cannot accommodate the students that are coming in into the industry, doesn't it?
yes, that's why I
Yeah.
can't give up.
Understandable.
Until today, I when I go teaching an interview, I tell them that I'm willing to take a pay cut, but please don't touch my industry work, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes a lot of old professor they don't understand.
Yeah.
Back then, a lot of old professor, I'm so sorry, I have to tell the truth that sometimes I met people where they think that they only teach and write journals. But the thing is, I'm so sorry, I'm entertainment, like 80% is practice based.
Yeah.
I have to tell them that I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't practice, I don't know what to teach my student.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to teach theory anymore. Theory, everyone would know that.
Yeah.
I wanted to produce real talent and real income for my country. It's not just
Yeah.
by the book. Of course, we have to write the book as well. I have no
Mm-hmm.
excuse on producing high journal and all this, but
Mm-hmm.
and then my colleague and all the young professor or young doctors, I have to fight for them. I can't,
Mm-hmm.
because we can't follow the old route. This 5 years changed my mindset where I see amazing professor in overseas. They can
Yeah.
achieve it because they have the freedom. But of
Mm-hmm.
course, a lot of system, everything we have to change it because the system wasn't changed since
I'm
2002.
with you, doctor. I'm with you.
You faham, right? I was like,
Yeah, I totally understand. Yeah.
because we were government servant before. I understand how the teacher feel now. I was like,
Yeah.
Back then I don't get it. Now I get it. I know what's happening already. So that's why I told them as well. In the future, I won't stop
Mm-hmm.
learning. And
Mm-hmm.
this is my second PhD. I'm
Yeah.
going for my graduation soon and my Viva
Yeah.
as well. I won't stop. The next PhD I wanted to take is Master in Education. I want to see
Mm-hmm.
how can we revamp the policy and stuff so that,
Yeah.
you know what, before even talking about the student,
Mm-hmm.
the teachers and stuff. I was like, why am I coming out as an educator? We need great teachers. We
Yeah.
don't have enough nowadays. And
Yeah.
if we don't encourage people, and like people always like nowadays, say, you, why you become a teacher? I was like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? Overseas, people respect teachers and
Yeah.
professor.
Yeah.
Why
True.
are we looking down on teachers? Teachers, I heard amazing story. I'm just the starting. I
They
have
deserve the respect as well. Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely the teachers. Yeah.
yeah. I was like back then. It's because of the teacher who inspire me. Then
Yeah.
only I went for classes. If the teacher is boring, I won't go. If the teacher is
Definitely.
just reading up from the book, you know what? I can
Mm-hmm.
read it myself. So I
True.
always tell the students before we even inspire the students, inspire
Mm-hmm.
the teachers first. We
Yeah.
need great educators to fight for our next generation. It's not the educators who just follow the flow. I know that
Yeah.
it's going to be very painful for us, but the thing is, like, you know what? We have no turning back, right? I was like, since I'm
Mm-hmm.
that crazy, I always cite the truth. I don't want to lie, So I always think that the system is not perfect. We have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of job to do. So we are all coming down to revamp ourselves. But this one, we need all the kerjasama from everyone, student, teachers, parents. Then only, Minister of Education, it should be independent from other ministry, because it's such a hub where everyone is so important, where it must be independent, and it must be not related to anything,
Yeah,
so that
doctor,
it
sorry to interrupt you there.
yeah
Since now that you're coming into the education world,
yes
and it's a very personal aspect of your life as well, whereby you're in, I mean you've gone for your journey to do your PhD. So the next part that I would like to talk about, since we are talking about education, is that the
yes
fact that you are a beauty queen with a doctorate, which is, by the way, to all the audience that are listening to us right now. So this is what we can see here is a Malaysian book of record holder, whereby she's the first beauty pageant beauty queen that holds a PhD, and she's also the first recording artist with a PhD. And then now she's doing a second PhD, and she's going to a fourth, maybe eighth PhD that she's planning to
yeah
do. So, doctor, my question to you is, in
yeah
regards of your journey of doing your PhD, I mean, what was the driving force behind you, or as a multi-hybrid artist? That's what you refer yourself as, a multi-hybrid artist. To be in a schedule that, I mean, you have a schedule that has always kept you on your toes, and then
yes
suddenly you decide to, I mean, okay, maybe I'm not busy enough, so I'll just do my PhD.
no 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 no
That kind of thing. I mean, what was the driving force behind
okay.
you saying that, okay, I'm doing this?
Okay, back then I was like, honestly, when I started, I never think so much. It's just that I was lost in the entertainment line, because and then the only way for me to guide it myself is fall back to education, right? So I decided to enroll in distant learning in PhD. So back then I told myself I want to do part time because I want work experience and something to guide me. So
Mm-hmm.
when I started, my motive was a bit surface. I was like, okay, I want to be the first world Miss Malaysia world to get all this PhD and stuff.
I mean, that's all you. I mean, there's no one coming in saying that, Dr. Su, you should do this. No, it's just
No,
you. Oh, okay.
no, and back then, trust me, everyone stopped me because I was like, enough lah, master, enough. Back then, like it was not a
Yes.
popular choice to do a PhD, especially entertainment world. No
Mm-hmm.
need. And back then, I had my crown and everything. I was very busy
Yeah.
already, but I was like, something was missing. The calling was there again. So I went myself,
Mm-hmm.
and that time I went secretly, honestly, because I don't want everyone to do. If I fail, I scared I fail. So I went secretly on a Saturday Sunday school. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. Then after that, my second and third year, when my supervisor was like, okay, go away. Your thesis doesn't work and stuff. I almost gave up, and
Mm-hmm.
I almost stopped for half a year. I was quite lost. I didn't know it was so hard. So again, my motive was one thing. If I start something, I just want to finish it. So I went again, and then I keep challenging, and then I went a lot of things. I wasn't sleeping at all. So back then I
Mm-hmm.
remember I shoot until midnight, and then the next morning I had to wake up and do my thesis. So that becomes my routine. And at the age of like almost like at my fifth and sixth year, when they announced that I passed my Viva, I cried.
Must be a
And
relief.
I was like relief, like when I say that relief, when I cry until that, because I was pushed until the limit where one, everyone thought I was crazy already. Okay. Second
Mhm.
and third, back then everyone say that why Wincy is so weird, meaning weird in the sense of I'm very different from my peers,
Yeah.
my peers, okay, because I have a big vision for Malaysia, and
Mhm.
that time I have nobody to share. The only way, it's like my supervisor, and then they were just encouraging me. I was in my own world, and people were challenging me, and then there was a lot of things happening, and thank God I went through that. I never give up. It makes all the
Mhm.
difference now. Back
Yeah.
then, people who laugh at me,
Yeah.
they don't have job now. I was like,
Mhm.
if you go the safe way, it won't jadi now. If you play
Mhm.
safe, like there's no safe nowadays, especially in my entertainment line. So
So
now,
we need a safe net as well. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, back then I never play safe. I was like, I wanted to do something, 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 because like,
Mhm.
my dad always say, you know what, we are always, like, I don't know what you're doing, but the thing is like, go and challenge yourself if you're still young,
Yeah.
because you have nothing to lose, right? I was telling the youngster, you know what, you're still young, challenge yourself, of course, in a good way. You're
Mhm.
going to see all the differences when you talk back. The story is going to make all the differences.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah,
when we talk about sustainability, I mean, you in the entertainment business, so you deal with all this fame, glam,
yeah,
all this. I mean, after a while, it fades away.
yeah.
But so that when you talk about your academic life, so whatever that you're doing, it kind of sticks with you,
It
doesn't
sticks
it?
with me. It sticks
Yeah.
with me. Until
Okay.
today, right? I tell
Yeah.
people, right, all the fame, okay? If you know my audience, right, they know me through different generation and all of,
Mm-hmm.
of work, right? Today, a lot of youngster knows me because you remember that this doctor, this beauty queen has so
Master
many
Chef.
doctor, yeah, master
Yeah,
chef,
yeah,
or this, why this
yeah.
person go and study until like last year when I went and
Yeah.
teach, all my fans was who? All the one who watched me since MasterChef, and they saw my PhD journey. I was like, "Hey, Chigu, you were my dad and mom is your fans." I was like,
Yeah.
"Wow!" I was like,
So
"It's
you
quite
have
cool."
your different generations of fans
Yeah,
following
but
you like
it's
that.
so
Yeah.
touching because I do
Yeah.
different stuff to attract their
Mm-hmm.
attention, and like as we mentioned that. Thank God that I went the PhD route because youngsters nowadays are so smart. If you're going to
Yeah.
produce something for your audience, you have to be smarter than them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
True.
things happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's inspiring, inspiring stories as always. Your book, your speech that I see on the platforms that you talk about, I mean, everything that comes out from your mouth that you want to inspire people to do something in
Yeah.
their life. So you challenge yourself. Be okay with all the hurdles, all the troubles that you
Yeah.
stumble upon in your life. I mean, you've proven it yourself. So, doctor, the next part that I would like to, I mean, in your books, so I would like
Yeah.
to show you again. This is the book. Yeah, you've mentioned various quotes here and then. I mean, very powerful quotes. But one of the quotes that strikes me the most is that when this is from your graduation speech as well, where you say that
Oh yeah.
what a son can do, a
A
daughter can do
daughter
as
can do
well.
it. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what you
yes,
said.
yes. I was like, I wanted to say that so much because
Yeah,
I'm from a very traditional family, and I
yeah.
think I think I have a lot of girls here as well, like online. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
This generation, we have to fight as a women. Don't
Mm-hmm.
give up your dream. A
Yeah,
girl, if a guy can do it, we need more girls up. Of course, I respect all the guys. I learned a
yeah.
lot from the guy guru. I
Mm-hmm.
respect guy who pushes girl to go up.
Yeah,
I respect all these people. I don't respect people who look down on girls and then ask girl to play safe. I
yeah.
was like, back then I was like, okay, you want to be a princess or what else? I told them I want to be a warrior. I don't want to be a princess.
That's the difference between Dr. Sue from the rest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was like, after I get my crown, I was like, I put my
yeah,
crown aside. Okay, let's come down and do work already. I was like,
yeah,
I don't want to sit on the surface. Come on. I was like, I don't want to be
yeah.
served. I want to serve people. That's why I like cooking. I like to see all
Mm-hmm.
everything. I like to do music. It comes back to my personality.
Mm-hmm.
I would think about the way of not buying and how to produce and do it. Because
Yeah.
back then, why are we buying from overseas people and stuff? Of course, we learn from them. But one day, Watan Malaysia is the one where I want to see. I'm
Mm-hmm.
so proud when I see Malaysian do it on international stage and stuff because I know
Yes.
it's so hard. So like now, I always inspire people like, you know what? Make it yourself. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was having talk last week and I was mixing with a student. They look at me, I was like, doctor, why you never buy branded stuff? I was like, hang on, why should we buy branded stuff? We should make our own
I
brand,
like
right?
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
everyone thought that the beauty. I was like,
yeah.
no, if you know me, that I keep telling people that I'm the budget
Mhm.
queen.
Yeah,
I'm the person who I know how to produce it, not to
yeah.
buy. I was like, you have to be, because you influence the next generation. I walk the
Everything.
talk.
I mean, everything is a form of investment with you. When you
Yes.
invest for your education is an investment, and then you're looking for a return of investment (ROI) for you. So when it comes
Bingo.
to yeah, right. So when you talk about all this branded stuff, so I believe that you see is not. I mean, it's not a good form of investment for yourself, isn't it?
Oh my God. If it's
Yeah.
not sustainable, I won't buy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or,
Preach,
or,
sister. Yeah.
or I will buy something where discounted. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
how to get discounted? And then
Yeah.
if you know the technology,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the same thing. And then if you know how to
Mm-hmm.
budget and stuff, because I do audio tech and stuff. So these few years,
Yeah.
like I was being grilled by my supervisor. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't, back then, my supervisor all told me that, Wincy, if you're a good musician, you don't
Mm-hmm.
need an expensive microphone. I mean, like you're
Yeah.
not there yet. If a good singer or stuff, your
Mm-hmm.
creativity and your hard work is 80%.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that, okay, it's just like my job as a model. I'm supposed to elevate the brand,
Yeah.
not the brand elevate me.
Yeah.
That was my
It's,
my,
it's,
my
it's not
motive,
supposed
right?
to be the other way around.
Now, so
Yeah.
youngster nowadays, they are being polluted is because the marketing plan that they ask them to buy, 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 buy.
Yeah.
But I keep asking them to, what, budget, 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 budget first. Because
You're going
because
the other way.
yeah, because I was like,
Yeah.
hey, hang on. I was like, I have to educate my fans to be much more smarter.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be sustainable. Even
Yeah.
until today, I keep budgeting, I keep saving my money. Of course, I
Mm-hmm.
invest. I invest in my intellectual property, which is my education
Yeah.
and my
Yeah.
tools,
Which is
because
the best form of investment.
that's the
Invest in
best form.
yourself.
That's the best form. When I went
Yeah.
overseas, people are
Yeah.
not going to look at what you have or what you wear. People are
Yeah.
going to look at what can you bring on the table.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. How the way you think, yeah, definitely. I understand where you're
Exactly.
coming, doctor. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
I like to, like, we create a real market and a real thing starting from the student first
Yeah.
and starting from myself. If I can't do it, I'm not going to ask people to do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what I need to conclude here that doctor, in inspiration not only to girls out there, the boys as well. I mean, the way you think, the way you carry yourself. I mean, the way you budget your financial as well. I mean, I think it's very admirable, not only for the girls, even for the boys. Okay, but I'm coming back to the book since we are coming to the end of our talk today. It's been fun so far.
Yeah, it's
I've
fun.
enjoyed. Yeah. So I need to talk about the book as well, and then we have a couple of questions from the audience. Okay, doctor.
Cool.
In regards of the book, we've gone quite into a lengthy conversation about you personally and your book,
Yes.
Invisible Act. So I have a couple of questions in regards of accessibility of the book. I have a copy here with me, lucky me. So
Oh
a
yeah.
signed copy some more. So how about the audience out there? So for the public, where can they access this book or
Oh
get
my
this
God.
book? But yeah.
Actually, right, this book, it's really limited already. That's why I was like that day I passed it to you all and stuff because it's
Yeah.
limited already. And then actually, like, like I would give it out for free now, but it's just like I left almost like 100 copies in my house. So, but the thing is,
Mm-hmm.
I promised that there will be new books coming out soon, soon. But
Wow. Good luck
yeah,
for that.
yeah, I was like, there will be new books coming out because more stories I'm going to share and more things learning from the first book mistake. But now this books and stuff, I was like, you know what, listen to the talk and all those things. And sometimes I hope that I'll come to your school because I see so many
Mm-hmm.
teachers here. I see Dr.
Yeah, we look
Asman.
forward to having you here.
Wow. Yeah, I wanted to come. So yeah,
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
we should have a physical, like
Definitely,
a
definitely.
session and all this.
Yeah.
Like this is just a virtual. I hope to see more people. I
Yeah.
like to see people face to face.
Yeah, we look
So
forward to having you here physically in
yeah,
ELTC.
boleh, boleh.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think
Okay.
that one thing is I also encourage teachers to produce books as well because we
Mhm.
need people to set the trend. Yeah.
It's not an easy journey, but it's
No.
worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very worth
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So, doctor, this is your first baby. I'm praying for your second baby to come
Thank
out
you.
soon. Maybe we have another book talk session with you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, doctor. There's a couple of questions from the audience.
Okay.
Uh, I mean, one of the question that I think is one of the interesting question is that what is your plan for your future? I mean, you're only
Okay.
37. You are still
Yeah.
young. You have a long way ahead of you. So, what is your I mean, your near future? I mean, your plans for the near future and the long run.
Okay. For in terms of education, definitely I'll aim for my full prof. In terms
Mm-hmm.
of like studying, I already told you that my dream is 8 PhD. If I say it, I have to do it, right? I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I
yeah.
think 80 years old, I think that people is going to see that, oh, what's doing. But the thing is also my dream, my biggest dream is definitely to get back the Grammy for Malaysia, because I was like I fight a lot for art scene, because
Mm.
when I see the whole industry now, a lot of them fight for science or whatever. I fight for
Mm.
social science.
Yeah,
So I also hope that one day I'm going to bring back more, because all this PhD whatever I go in and stuff. I hope to bring back more knowledge from Malaysian, and also I
yeah.
hope that to help Malaysia to rebrand themselves as an educational cities and an educational hub, because
Hub,
Malaysian
yeah,
are so multi talented
yeah.
and
We are.
so, yeah, I was like, just now, like when the ketua said that, sculpture the whole nation as a reading nation. That's the first phase. If my
Mm-hmm.
vision, I want to sculpture as an educational hub for people to come and market our Malaysian teachers. We have inspiring teachers, I
Yeah,
bet,
yeah,
and
we
and
have.
we have amazing students. So if one day, when I was in Spain, I saw how they do it, like they kind of do like student tourism and all these things. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
if we can like export, all this, like our Malaysian educators and stuff, it can be a new economy.
Yeah.
So that's my vision. And of course, I really hope that one day Malaysian can be so educated. We stand strong as a rakyat, and also as a person where I want to see fans. I want to see Malaysian to be so educated and so powerful that we're going to change the whole economy landscape. I know it's very tough situation now, but the thing is, as a Malaysian, we stand strong to go through any hurdles, and one
Mm-hmm.
day we're going to see different things coming out. So
Yeah.
I would like to see a very educated nation for
Yeah,
Malaysian.
Malaysians hear that. That's the wise word from the beauty queen herself.
Yeah. Don't
We
give up.
want to see
Don't give up. Whatever
don't give
happened now,
up.
don't give up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
give up.
we're
Mm.
going into a direction whereby we give emphasis to education. Why? Well, some
Yeah.
people, I mean, in this modern world, people are saying that we don't need the education. We just
No.
there are lots of, yeah. So hopefully that we can maintain that how valuable educations are. Okay,
Yeah,
doctor.
I would like to share one more quote from a very
Yeah.
a Chinese proverb. Okay, we
Mm-hmm.
Chinese always follow this. We can be hungry ourselves, but we cannot be we can okay we can be hungry and not spend on other things, but we cannot not spend on education,
Yeah.
because education is the essence of everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that shows how important education is.
very important. Yeah,
Yeah, to all the audience out there, remember that we can never not spend on education. Okay,
yeah.
doctor. The
Mm.
next question from the audience is that who's your? I mean, what is your favorite book, or do you have any specific
A lot.
author that you enjoy reading the most?
Okay. Back then, I like J.K. Rowling. I like a lot of different sci-fi author, because all this
Mm-hmm.
author makes me think. Because their
Mm-hmm.
story, maybe it's very fantasy, but a lot of things make sense. So I like
Yeah.
a lot of sci-fi or a very special author, and also like a lot of local Malay author. I do read their things as well, because I like
Mm-hmm.
sejarah and I like culture. So I always like not just English. I like Bahasa Melayu. If you know that, I like to write. Back then as well.
Yeah.
If you see my social media, I like to write in 3 languages. So for me, it's like I have a different favorite author in different sectors. That makes me so different and hybrid. I like to read different type of books, and I like
Mm-hmm.
local authors and international authors as well, because I learn a lot from the local authors,
Yeah.
because they know our national language. International is because they know the direction. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a person that I don't limit myself, but whenever I remember, I always have this habit, because I travel a lot.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to the airport, the first hub, I'm going to see what's the best bookseller in the bookshop. So then I'm going to read it, and when I'm going to buy it and stuff, and I'm going to refer and stuff. I always push myself. The first thing I go airport.
Oh, that's amazing. That's usually people go to the airport. They go and get
Makan,
the
right?
neck pillow. Yeah, the neck pillow and the
No.
coffee. Not
I
Dr.
always
Suwinsi.
I was
Yeah,
like, where's the top 10? I was like, where's the top
that's
10?
amazing. That's amazing. Okay, doctor.
Yeah.
There's a question. Another
Yeah.
question. Well, it's been a very lively session with you today. Okay, doctor. Is it possible
Wow.
for Dr. Su to visit schools and share your experience with
Yes, I
to
love
inspire
it.
the students?
Yes,
Road
yes,
tour to
yes, yes.
school. Okay, that's
Yes,
the
yes.
answer. The audience, yes,
Yes.
she's open to be
I'm open.
invited.
Please PM
Yeah,
me on my Instagram and everything. I'm always there. I'm always
yeah,
there. Okay. If anything, also we can do online because I'm coming down to serve the students. I'm willing to come down as long as like my schedule allow. I will come down. I'll definitely
yeah,
come down. And then someone asked, how do you handle criticism and negative feedback, both from fans
yeah.
and
I have the
reviewers?
question as well with me.
Wow, this is a very good, very, very good
Yeah.
question. You know what? Okay, one thing. Okay, I have to share you my strategy. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
one thing you have to analyze the psychological thing of Malaysian fans, right? Okay, let's
Yeah.
talk about Malaysian fans. Malaysian like to criticize. Malaysian have a lot of keyboard warrior, right? But the thing is, yeah, this is a very thing I'm going to share with them. You know what? A lot of them criticize my journey. I go puasa also criticize everything to criticize. But the
Mm.
thing is, okay, don't attack them back. You know, sometimes
Yeah.
I would just comment that. Okay, you know what? Of course, I felt very like frustrated and stuff. But the thing is, hey, I'm attracting the attention, right? Please, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I back then my a lot of my senior told me, Wincy, what do you call that? If people the comment is better than no comment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of bad and good, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
one day when you keep doing, people in the get inspired and
Yeah.
people are going to get touched. So it,
Mm-hmm.
they might be starting from a critics and someone who go against you, but one day they're going to become
Mm-hmm.
your fans, or sometimes just what do you call that? Attract their attention that one day they are going to fall into our fan page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
true,
I
true.
was like,
And they
a lot.
become a follower. Yeah.
Yes, I was like, at first, okay, I can tell you that please don't get emotionally attached. It's
Yeah.
just like when we go education and stuff. We a lot of people we are too emotionally attached. Like sampai sakit
Mm.
hati kan. So one time, once
Mm.
one thing is like, please be kita cakap constructive criticism. Okay,
Yeah.
so at first, you're going to face all these things yet because whenever I open a new journey, it's going to be have a lot of critics. Okay, but of course, step by step, they are the one who throwing on stone on you. One day you are going to be successful. So
Yeah.
critics is always going to remain critics in some ways as well. So
You'll be
some
the one who
some
building the castle.
yeah, some people,
Yeah.
of course, I keep telling them that this generation don't waste your energy as well. If you can't convince
Mhm.
them, you know, I
Yeah.
always tell people the best way is to change yourself and to get success, right? It's very hard to ask people to do your own way. So a lot of
Mhm.
times they will always be the watcher and criticism.
Yeah.
So you are going to be the doer, and the person who accept critics are the person who's
Mhm.
going to excel in life. So have the
Mhm.
mindset, and one day, hopefully, the critic become your fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, doctor. I have one question for me actually. I'm
Okay.
intrigued to ask because
Sure.
when I look at you when I read your story, listen to your stories, you remind me of Tom Cruise because Tom Cruise is a celebrity that he does everything. He flies airplanes, he flies
Yeah.
helicopter, he does parachuting, he plays music, everything under the sky, he does it just like
Yeah.
how you're doing. So I mean, do you have any celebrity either locally or internationally that inspire you? I mean, to
Yeah.
go beyond the limits that have been set.
Yeah, of course. Like internationally, definitely. Back then I like Angelina Jolie. Because
Mm,
like she do a lot of things, and she also do a lot of kind of charity work that
yeah.
inspire me to do charity work nowadays. Second one, definitely our Dato Michelle Yeoh. She's the one who showed that wow, a kampung girl like in Ipoh
Yeah.
also can go out to Oscar and stuff. But of course, she make a lot of sacrifice. I really
Mm-hmm.
all due respect for her generation. Of course, locally we have Dato Siti Nurhaliza and all these things
Mm-hmm.
where they meet so impactful people that look at
Mm-hmm.
them. None of them are just one thing. They do other things as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So I was like, I challenged myself like these are my senior. Of course, I respect them,
Mm-hmm.
but I have to create a new story for the next generation because
Mm-hmm.
one day you or any one of us might be a role model for young people. But
Yeah.
again, I told the young ones as well, please don't copy my journey. just reference, okay? I might do
Mm-hmm.
something where it doesn't suit you, or I might be having my own mistake as well. I'm not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
always have like five. I remember in Berkeley and stuff, they asked us to
Yeah.
list out 10 idols so that
Mm-hmm.
we reference the good things and we eliminate the bad things. Because every
Mm-hmm.
generation we have our flaw. So I always have all these people, and they are all powerful women. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who
So
make
you cherry
changes.
pick all the good elements, the good aspects from the idols that you've chosen. Okay.
Yep. Hmm.
Point taken. Interesting. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think I've taken extra few minutes of your time. I hope you don't mind.
Hmm.
Sorry. Is there another question from the audience? So there's more. Doctor, one last question. Last
Hmm.
question. Oh, banyak lagi. Oh, there's more question, Doctor. Are you okay with that?
Can.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm also reading all the question online.
Yeah.
Yeah, the amazing, man. I see
Okay.
people.
Have you experienced any writer's block, and how do you handle it while you are writing your book?
Oh yeah. Writer's block is every time okay, the first month, I remember the first month, I
Mm.
was almost stuck that I can't even write anything out. I got too many things in my head. But the thing is, always start from baby step. What
Mhm.
I always tell them that, the first book is always the baby. It's just like when I did my first PhD, my supervisor was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, for me, I was like, Cikgu, nak buat ini." You know what my supervisor said? Wincy, you always can do more than one PhD. That's why my supervisor gave me that idea. I was like, oh yeah, you're right, no? So
Why
I
not,
always
right?
start with elementary level first. I was
Yeah.
like, don't aim too high first. Have a very simple thing where people understand you first. Like people
Mhm.
always get confused when you're trying to do too much at one time. You're gonna do it later on.
Yeah.
Stage one is always simple and straight to the point first. So back then
Mhm.
I was like, the first thing is like, I'm going to kupas my own story first, so that I also learn from myself first. I was like, what happened? Because there's too many things happening in this few years. So the second and third book definitely have the integration of the first book. So the first
Yeah.
book, the simplest, hit to the point, and something where the audience relate to. That was always my
Mhm.
direction first. I
Yeah.
have to set a direction, because if not, if there's no direction, you're gonna get lost. You are
Yeah.
going to get lost. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay. Uh, that's one thing about Dr. Su Wincy. She always knows what she wants, even from a very young age. I remember reading one of your chapters where you say that you were flopping in your schools, in your grade.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, I need to do something, and then suddenly you became the smartest girl
Yeah.
in school. Yeah, and then you started being. I mean, it affected your personality. Okay,
Yeah.
Doctor. Another
Hmm.
question from Farah Azwin. Is this from YouTube? From YouTube as well. Okay.
YouTube. Yeah. Mm.
But this one is already asked. Okay, this one. Okay. What was your hardest scene to write? I mean, hardest chapter to write
Wow.
in your book?
I think the hardest chapter is a lot of confession behind the scene.
Mm-hmm.
At the same, okay, when I write the book, because I plan to for the young kids. Of course,
Yeah.
there's deeper stuff I never reveal, but the
Mm-hmm.
hardest one was definitely my education and my singing career, which I love the most, because it was so a lot of things happen behind the scene and all these things, and some things I cannot straight bulat bulat review it out. So I,
Mm-hmm.
I have to sculpture it in a way where the young people will understand. It's enough for them to understand.
Yeah.
So I told them, like, if one day I were to make my movie, I'm going to write even deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because a lot of things now, if you look at Netflix and stuff, story sell.
Yeah.
Those story, it's the most inspiring, and definitely, I guess the hurdles I've been through, because it was what I fought for. So
Yeah.
when I write that as well, when I write everything and come down, of course, like a lot of memories trigger. So a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
when I reflect, I was like, why so much mistake I was doing? So
Mm-hmm.
that's why back then the hardest was education and music for me. But this was two I loved the most.
It's
Yeah,
the hardest, but it's the one that closest to your heart, I guess.
closest. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, doctor. There's one. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you have any more question from YouTube as well? Okay.
Yeah,
Can I have the
I'm
question,
reading
please?
that. Yeah.
Okay, doctor. Uh, you live a very, I mean, fast-paced life. I mean, you sleep 3 4 hours a day, and then
Yeah.
you are juggling between 5 6 7 things at a time. So, is there any how does Dr. Su Wincy, I mean, take your leisure time, or how do you relax?
Wow.
Yeah, or is there any
Ah,
term as relaxing for Dr. Su?
you know what? because I think that, especially after COVID and when you get position and stuff nowadays, honestly speaking, I don't have leisure time, but
Mm-hmm.
I always enjoy whatever I'm doing now. I don't think that I'm working every day. That
Yeah.
makes me different. Yeah, because if I
Mm-hmm.
felt that I'm working, meaning I'm not doing what I love. That's why I keep
Mm-hmm.
telling them. My mom told me that let your children do what they love, because they're
Mm-hmm.
going to push so far
Yeah.
beyond. Back then my dad would say have to do this and that, but my mom have a soft side where I say that, what, do what you love. It makes all the differences. So
Mm-hmm.
education and music and art, it's what I love always. So whenever I go for classes and stuff, I even talk, I make it more interesting so that it doesn't seem like a talk. It seems like a chat.
Yeah.
And whenever I go for meeting and stuff, I told everyone that, you know what, let's change the thing. Okay, it must be serious, but the thing is, it must be interesting, so that we don't lose time. So whenever I
Yes.
talk to my students, because that's my passion, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I can talk 24 hours with them. They know that I'm very long-winded. And when they
Yeah.
meet me, can talk 24 because it's my
Yeah.
passion to see people succeed. So until
Mm-hmm.
today, my leisure, I don't have leisure anymore because all during my weekend I dedicated for all my PhD student. A lot of
Yeah.
industry people are my PhD. I'm the supervisor
Mm-hmm.
now. I'm doing free for them Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
I give extra classes. So my leisure, I can tell you, it's like sometimes it's just at night I have 1 hour listening to music or watching YouTube. That's
Mm-hmm.
only my leisure. Because if you know that my schedule now is worse than before. It's worse. It's worse. It's worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to. I don't want to see. You don't want to see my schedule.
Yeah,
I was like,
but you're enjoying it, right? I mean,
I love it.
yeah,
I
like
love
you
it. I
said. I
love
mean,
it.
when you love something that you do, you're not really working, so
I'm not
it's good
working.
for
Yeah.
you. You have good things going. Okay, doctor, I have this last question.
Yes.
Because since we are supposed to end at 10:30 just now, I'm sorry to take your time, your extra time. I hope you don't mind.
No
So,
worries.
just a brief, I mean, trailer for your audience. What might your next book be about?
I think that the next book, actually, I was discussing. I might be doing one with our local independent publisher because
Yeah.
I always encourage. I want to see local independent publisher to flourish. Especially now as well. My music as well. I'm an independent artist now, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm my own label. I'm my own publisher and all these things. The next book, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be about buaya, crocodile. But the thing is, it's going to be very twist. Yeah, yeah. Because if you know my Facebook,
I hope it's not
I
the
no,
buaya
it's a
that I have
no,
in
no, no,
mind.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
It's all the meme. It's a meme.
Oh,
It's
okay,
a meme.
okay.
It's a meme because I wanted to write something for the youngster to make it more
Yeah.
funny, so that it doesn't seem like reading a book. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I think my current book here, it's definitely dedicated for a lot of PhD students and stuff. But the young ones, I have to think of the new ways, to
Yeah.
interesting ways. So it might be I'm discussing in the discussing mode now because the first book
Mm-hmm.
I write it myself. The second one I really
Mm-hmm.
want to collaborate with a lot of local writers and local publisher
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
I wanted to do something where produce local. It's going to be in
Mm-hmm.
Bahasa Melayu as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That, I
yeah.
hope we can keep in touch so that I can get the updates on your next
Boleh,
book as
boleh.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to produce that because as a producer, it's not just producing books. I might be
Mm-hmm.
translating that into music and other things because nowadays it's mixed mode. When you do
Yeah.
a book, it must have a song or something
Yeah.
so that it's
Yeah.
so different. It's no longer that I'm just writing a book
Mm-hmm.
because youngster nowadays
Mm-hmm.
you have to attract their attention. Since youngster
Yeah.
like music
Yeah.
and all these things, I have to do different ways to attract their attention.
Yeah. So you have to include all these audios and videos and
Yeah,
AR and yeah, all the
it's
augmented
really my
reality and all.
job.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really my job to make it
Yeah.
so interesting that
Yeah.
VR or mixing on
Mm-hmm.
and other things. So that's the direction. It's going to be very fun. I'll
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
make it fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we look forward to your next baby,
Thank
and
you.
we look forward to hearing the news on your completion of your next PhD
Thank
as
you.
well, and then going
Thank
on for
you.
third and fourth and seventh and eighth. Okay.
Hopefully, hopefully.
Yeah, it has been a really insightful and informative session with our honored guest today, Dr. Su Wincy. As I have said earlier, our guest is indeed nothing short of an amazing story. She has definitely made a name for herself, a household name in Malaysia, and you've been to Taiwan and China as well. Through your success in the entertainment industry and the academic world, your milestone is truly inspiring.
Thank you.
Like I said before, not only for boys, even for not only for girls, for boys as well. I mean, you
Keep
can be an
going.
inspiration to any gender.
Thank you.
Okay, doctor. So we have come to an end to our session today. So I would like to give you the honor to share your final words to the audience with
Okay.
your.
Okay, the final words. I see a lot of guru online and stuff. Yeah, I think one thing. Yeah, if you want to invite me to your school, please PM me. Yeah, if I have time, I definitely come down and see and talk to your students and stuff. And for all the teachers, educators, don't give up. And kudos to all those who are still fighting for education, and keep
Mhm.
learning. And all the fans online, all the youngster, please do better than us. And please read more. And of course, when you read, please think wisely. Don't just copy. Okay. So extract whatever is important to you and suitable for you, and create your own path, create your own journey, and create your own story. That's the most inspiring. I don't want to just me talking. One day I want to listen to story from my fans, from the teachers. That's so inspiring, because I like to see people where, hey, your story inspire. It's just back then I would tell my idol, your story inspire become me today. So I hope
Yeah.
that one day you're going to share your part of story. That is going to be very, very amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the
Thank
wise word.
you.
Yeah, like I said just now, doctor, like what my friend said. I mean, when she saw your face on my social media, she said, "Oh, she's my role model. This is the quote that she said." Oh
Oh,
my God, I think that's the kind of thing that leave a mark in people. Okay. Thank you very much, Doctor. Again, I
thank
would like to
you.
express my highest level of gratitude to our esteemed guest today, Dr. Su Wincy. Hopefully, one day I can call you Prof. Su Wincy when you reach your full prof. Amen to
Yeah.
that.
Amen.
For willing to spend your time with us today for this book session. It has been very wonderful. I enjoyed every conversation that I had.
Thank you.
For all tuning in, thank you for being with us today. Be sure to get your copies today, and who knows, you may see the world from the eyes of Dr. Su Wincy.
Yes.
Yeah. As to you, Dr. Su Wincy, I have nothing but the best of wishes to you.
Thank you.
Sky is definitely the limit for you. Until next time, I look forward to having you here physically in ELTC.
Thank
Miss
you.
Buvana, over to you. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you. All the
Thank
best.
you.
Wow, wow. Thank you, Mr. Khairul Mizan. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please let's give a round of applause to Dr. Su Wincy for that enlightening presentation. I think I speak for everyone when I say that her journey and accomplishments, they are indeed truly awe-inspiring, don't you think? Wow, I'm impressed beyond words. Thank you, Dr. Su Wincy, for taking the time to answer some of the participants' questions that we had just now. Your insights, they have been really invaluable. Now, as we've come to the end of this enlightening book talk session, we would like to take a moment to express once again our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Su Wincy for gracing us with her presence and sharing her invaluable insights with us today. And we also like to extend our sincere thanks to the English Language Teaching Center, ELTC, Ministry of Education Malaysia, for organizing this inaugural, first of its kind event and providing us with the opportunity to engage with such an esteemed guest. Now, before we conclude, we would like to kindly request your valuable feedback on today's event. So your thoughts and suggestions are highly appreciated, as they will assist us in improving future events and ensure we continue to meet your expectations. So please take a moment to fill out the program evaluation form, which can be found in the description box below the live stream. Yeah, please do so. Once again, it'll be really valuable for us to get your feedback, as they will actually help us improve for future events. Now, with that, we conclude today's book talk session. We hope you found this event enriching and inspiring. On behalf of ELTC and the organizing team, we thank you all for joining us today and for your active participation. Please stay tuned for future events organized by the English Language Teaching Center of Malaysia. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.